Hey everybody, it's Angie from Trips with Angie, and today I am sharing my review of the Celebrity Edge. We recently took a 10-night Southern Caribbean sailing on the Celebrity Edge, so as usual, I'm gonna go through my scale from 10 being the best, 0 being the worst, and review all of the key aspects of this cruise. Hopefully you're a subscriber, so you've seen some of my other reviews before because I will be talking about them a little bit. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would love for you to subscribe to keep up to date on all my cruise reviews, all-inclusive resort tours, and other fun travel adventures. So to get started, we always start with the cabin. We booked an Aqua Class cabin 10236. Aqua Class is a special category of cabin that gives you some extra perks and access to some key areas of the ship. I'm gonna give this cabin a 9 out of 10. I thought this was a great cabin. It was an infinite veranda cabin. Infinite Veranda is a special category of cabin that Celebrity debuted with the Edge. So basically what they did is they took the square footage that used to be on your balcony, they enclosed it on two sides, and then made a floor-to-ceiling window where you can open the top half. It also has folding doors you can close to create a balcony when you do open that window. Now, it's very controversial. There's pros and cons. Some people love it, some people hate it, and I talk about it more in the video just on Infinite Veranda versus regular balcony veranda, which I'll link at the end of this series. But overall, I, in general, really like the Infinite Veranda cabins. I think this was a very nice one. I thought the Aqua Class shower head was terrific, but I did have to deduct a couple points. So one point is I do not like that the closet is so close to the bed or couch. Now, you heard me mention this dislike on the Celebrity Solstice review I did a few weeks ago. I just don't like it. It makes it hard to get in and out of the closet. I also didn't like that the TV doesn't swivel. So the TV is set up just facing the bed in the cabin we had. Now, this is a problem because one of the Aqua Class perks is this special wellness programming and workout programming. So it's really hard to do a workout when the TV is facing the bed instead of swiveling to the open space in the cabin. Also in our cabin, we had a little wear and tear on the balcony. I think the ship's just getting a little bit older, but overall it was in really good shape otherwise. And the last really nitpicky thing was not all of the perks that Aqua Class promised were in the cabin. So they had this thing on the app where it said you could pre-order some amenities, and it turned out they didn't actually have those amenities on board. But overall, I think it's a great cabin. I think it's well laid out and makes a very efficient use of the space. So I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Overall ship condition, 9 out of 10. The Celebrity Edge launched in 2018 and they've done a really good job keeping it up. They are always polishing, cleaning. We even saw them washing all of the cushions in the cabanas on deck. So they do a wonderful job. I didn't give it a full 10 because there are still some areas that are just showing a little bit of wear and tear, some staining from the soot out of the smokestack. So overall, 9 out of 10. Casual dining, 7 out of 10. So if you saw my Celebrity Solstice video, you know I have a big problem with Celebrity's casual dining. So by casual dining, I mean those quick eat options. The buffet, the grill, anywhere you can go and just grab a quick bite. So the casual dining options on the Celebrity Edge are the buffet, the Mass Grill, the Eden Cafe, which is open on sea days, and the Cafe Al Baccio, which has only sweet treats. And I just don't think this is enough for a ship of this size, especially when the menu of the Mass Grill is so limited. It's hamburger, hot dog, turkey burger, veggie burger. On other cruise lines like Princess, they have pulled pork, tacos, different options for loaded cheese fries. You can get chips and guac. It's just, there's so many more things they could do with this space, especially when their buffet food is good and varied and has a lot of diversity and, some things made to order. And it just isn't up to the brand, I think, what they're serving in the Mass Grill. And they can do so much better. I do want to give a shout out to the pizza team on the Celebrity Edge though. This was the best pizza we've had on any Celebrity ship. Now, as you subscribers know, I am a huge fan of the Princess Pizza. It doesn't quite beat Princess Pizza, but it was a lot better than we had on a lot of other ships. So great job, pizza team. Sit down dining, 9.5 out of 10. We had a fantastic experience in Blue. So Blue is the dining room you get to eat in as a special perk of being in Aqua Class. There were some nights that were truly phenomenal, like absolutely terrific, worthy of a specialty dining surcharge. There were some nights that were less exciting. Some of the soups were just downright not good. That's why I can't give it a true 10 out of 10, but the service was impeccable. We had Mantra and Diva. Svetlana is the sommelier. She always had wonderful recommendations based what's on the menu, but I do want to warn you that the menus were a little challenging. So they had a lot of pheasant and lamb, which not everyone likes, but overall for us, it was an absolutely terrific experience. 9.5 out of 10. Now, if you're not going to be in Aqua Class and you're sailing on the Celebrity Edge, one thing I do enjoy, because I have sailed in a regular cabin on the Edge before, is they have 4 main dining rooms: Tuscan, Cyprus, Cosmopolitan, and Normandy. Now, within those dining rooms, each dining room has 6 different dishes that's only available in that dining room. Those 6 dishes stay the same throughout the entire cruise, and then the rest of the menu will rotate. So basically 80% of the menu is the same in the 4 dining rooms, and then you have that little 20% with the 6 dishes that are specific to the theme of that restaurant. So for instance, in Cyprus, there's a grilled octopus appetizer and a meze platter appetizer that you're not gonna find in the other 3. I love this idea. People really liked it on the ship. It gave you more variety. It felt like you were eating in different restaurants while it was all still part of the included main dining experience. Specialty dining, I'm not going to rate this time because we didn't eat in any specialty restaurants. We were having such a good experience in Blue. Entertainment, I'm going to give a 10 out of 10. I think Celebrity has done a phenomenal job beefing up their entertainment options. At the same time, some other cruise lines, Norwegian, are taking theirs down. It was incredible the amount of musicians on board. There were 2 different guitar players. There were 2 different bands, and both bands happened to be all female bands, which was really fun on board, plus the Celebrity Orchestra, which played with a lot of the shows, and the DJ. So you had a lot of different options for music to hear throughout the night. They brought in guest entertainers, a singer, a magician, some singing acts that came in. So a lot of variety in the nighttime entertainment for the 2 evening shows. And then they had 4 production shows, which were good. It was singing and dancing. We absolutely enjoyed it. Now, it wasn't, you know, a Broadway level performance, and it wasn't meant to be. To me, a good sign is that everybody leaves kind of bebopping their way out of the theater, clapping along and having fun. So I'll give it a 10 out of 10. Service, 8.75 out of 10. We had some incredible service, especially in Blue, and then we had some inconsistent service in some of the other locations. I don't think the crew was as friendly as they could have been. They didn't handle some feedback I gave them very well. It's like, I got a drink, I thought the soda was flat, and they just looked at me and said, no, it's not. Walked away, which was a little weird and not what I'm used to on a cruise. Another bartender, though, you know, quickly came over seeing I was still unhappy and asked what was going on and corrected my drink. But it just, like, some little inconsistencies like that, I'm gonna rate it a little lower than the experiences we've had, like on the Solstice, where, you know, the service was pretty incredible across the board. So 8.75 out of 10. Value, 8 out of 10. Overall, I think Celebrity has a tremendous product. I think their ships feel like hotels. People love that upscale experience, but I think the onboard spend is very expensive. So specialty dining and the spa are 2 times the price you'll find on other cruise lines. We were talking, a guest actually brought that up when we were asking about their experience. They're like, yeah, this is great. It's a beautiful ship. We've really enjoyed the dining, but anything you buy on board is so expensive. So I think that's really important to take into account. I'll do a separate thing about whether or not I think Aqua Class is worth it in my next video, but I just think overall it doesn't have the same value that you're gonna find on other cruise lines. So overall, that brings us to an 8.75 out of 10. So the inconsistent service, the lack of casual dining options, and the overall sort of lower score on value brings down the overall score. Now, if you've watched my previous videos, you know this brings it on par with the Norwegian Prima. The plentiful options and the newness of the Wonders of the Seas put the Wonder of the Seas a little bit ahead here. The other ship this puts above the Edge is the Carnival Panorama. So on the Panorama, we had super friendly crew, great casual dining options, and a great value. Now, does this mean if you're booked on the Edge, I think you should cancel and rebook on the Wonder of the Seas of the Panorama? No. One thing these reviews can't capture is the vibe of the ship. Celebrity is a cruise line designed for adults. Now it does have kids programming and they try to incorporate families, but it is really designed around an adult experience, which is not what you're gonna find on the Carnival Panorama and the Wonder of the Seas. Those are ships designed for families. So if you want an experience that's a little quieter, a little less chaotic, a little less kids running around, then the Edge is gonna be a great choice. It has more areas that are a little more chill. It has more programming that's a little more chill. So that's one thing that these reviews don't quite capture, and that's why I think it's really important you talk to a travel professional when booking your next cruise. Yes, I am one. I'm a travel agent. I book cruises. But one thing we can do for you is help you do that pros and cons in terms of what's going to be the best fit for the vibe you want for your vacation. Now I want to know what you think. Who's been on the Celebrity Edge? Am I way off? Did I miss anything? What was your experience? Let me know in the comments below.